Welcome to Intuitive Seek. My name is Mary Train, and as an intuitive guide, energy healer, and meditation teacher, I aim to bring you a grounded approach to all things energy and intuition. Everything I share is with the hope to help you remember how your unique power of intuition is your own greatest teacher. Welcome everyone to December 2025 and this first week. Today I'm going to be sharing the energy impressions for the overall month, and then I will touch on your week as well, the energy update for the specific week ahead. And yes, this meditation, which is what I do when I drop in to receive insight, guidance, clarity, anything that can help us to navigate through the month and the week with more intention. And when I did the meditation just now, there were a few things that were surprising. And yeah, it does feel, again, why would we be surprised that it will be kind of another dynamic month? And before I share all about the energy, I did want to just check in. And if you listened to last week, you heard I still had 2 spots available for my 4-month intuitive journey of healing and transformation called The Key. Well, one of the spaces has been claimed, so I have one available. Is it yours? Is it time to receive that one-on-one intuitive and energetic support that you need to really end the year with renewed or even new clarity and open 2026 deeply supported while expanding into your energy and your purpose and everything that you are wanting to do and create? This may be exactly the time, this kind of transitional, liminal space between the end of the year and then into the new. It is powerful. So if you've been thinking about it, if you are curious, let's begin. What is in the way? You can talk to me about that too, because the most important thing is you deciding. It's not about me deciding for you or telling you all the reasons you should. It's about you trusting whether this is something that could really help you. And working with me for this 4-month energetic container, this first kind of chapter of it, I do have clients that continue and we do chapter 2 or chapter 3. But the very first 4 months of the key, this journey is transformative. So go to the show notes. There's a link there where you can explore more about what the key is and how it can help you. But maybe the easiest way is to just connect with me, contact me through the links in the show notes or on my Instagram. And yes, we could start in mid-December and imagine what this kind of focused support, healing, and guidance could really change. So yes, go to the show notes. If you are curious, reach out to me. I really look forward to connecting with you. And yes, take advantage of this powerful turning point, portal, transitional, liminal space of the end of the year into the new. Talk about a doorway, and you hold the key. You hold the key to move through it and find yourself exactly where you want to be, because it was with you all along. And I can help you remember that. All right, so let's get into December 2025 energy impressions. I already shared how I received these through a deep meditation, but the intention is always to help us, me included, so you and I, to help us remember and connect with and see more clearly what we need so that we can move through the week and the month with the clarity that we need. And we don't need to know everything, but just a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time will allow us to lead ourselves to where we need to be. And the first things that I want to touch on for December are kind of the theme for December. And I say things because it was two words. Two words came through in the meditation very strongly, and they were separate. They weren't one word together, or you could kind of hyphenate them. It was two specific themes. And the first theme for December is allow, allow, and the second is soul. Now, you could put those together. What is your soul wanting you to allow? How can you allow the energy of your soul to be seen more? How can you connect to allowing your soul to really lead you more? But I did feel like these words were the themes, the standouts, because they could be kind of anchors for us when the busyness of the season, when we get kind of caught up in everything around us, the end of the year, what's going to happen next year? What are we doing? We can come back to one of two things. How can we allow more? Why are we resisting what is wanting to be allowed? What do we not feel allowed to do? Like, there's so many ways to connect to this word, but then also reconnecting to your soul. What does your soul feel is the right way? What is aligned more with your soul? What is your soul guiding you to do? What is your soul asking for? And that's a strong word, right? Like, what is a soul? But I would trust yourself. What does it feel like? What do you feel like a soul is? I'm going to share the traditional definitions just to give you a little bit of a jumping off point if it's feeling a little bit challenging. But the two definitions, Webster Dictionary definitions, the first one, soul is the spiritual or immaterial part of a human being or animal regarded as immortal. An example would be, they believe death is just one step in a soul's journey through the universe. And then another definition of soul, emotional or intellectual energy or intensity, especially as revealed in a work of art or in an artistic performance. And they give the example of their interpretation lacked soul. So it didn't have that emotional or intellectual energy or intensity. So two ways to kind of look at the soul, but I really encourage you to connect to what it means for you. Maybe it feels more like your spirit, your essence, that authenticity that we talked about in November. How can you connect in a deeper way to your soul? How can it be a theme for this month? And allow. How can you connect to what you need to allow in December as well? So, two kind of strong themes for this month ahead. And then the next thing that came in the meditation was a very vivid scene. But this time, we are at the top of a mountain. We are not on the dark path anymore. We are on the top of a mountain. If you listened to last week, it was still the starry night, the dark path. But now we are in the daytime. It is not night. So there is some new light that has come from November. The theme for November was unlock, unlocked. So something has unlocked. Some light has opened up. Some new vision. But we're at the top of a new vantage point. When I went back to just see after this meditation, what the November theme, the vision, idea, image was, we were at the top of a tree. So not as sturdy, but stable. So now in December, we are on steady ground, stone. So we're at the top of a mountain. We're looking over the edge. It doesn't feel scary, but we're right on the edge. And in our left hand is an apple. Last week, we had an apple on the ground. This week, we're holding it. Last week, it was split apart. This week, it's in our hand, not split apart. So this was surprising to me. Felt like a continuation, but in a new way. And if you remember from last week, apples have so much symbolism: love, well-being, health, gratitude, generosity, abundance, self-knowledge, wisdom, and a member of the rose family, so also connected to our hearts. And it is in our left hand, which is the hand that we receive with, the hand that we open to receive, the hand of our allowing. So it does feel like in December that what we gained in that knowledge, in that love, in that opening up to abundance and the seeds that were planted has really changed our point of view, but also our perspective. That now we feel confident enough, perhaps, trusting enough to hold all of that in our left hand, to actually receive the fruits of our wisdom, of our knowledge, to receive the love and the well-being, to open up more from our hearts. Big focus on opening up to receive for this month. And because we're at the top of a mountain overlooking this new view, the journey to this vantage point, that's what it felt like, acknowledging that the journey was not easy, moving through so much unknown. And because we're on this kind of stop on the journey, it doesn't mean that everything is known. But there is more knowledge has been received. So what do you know now from where you have been over the whole year and even just last month? Do you feel more grounded and anchored? Can you feel that solid foundation beneath your feet that you may not have felt at the beginning of November? Is there more trust that you didn't have before? Because the next thing in the meditation, it was quite a long scene, but the next thing that came through is that so the person at the top of this mountain representing you and I, we peek over the edge. We look over the edge, and this is where I was kind of surprised in the meditation. We look over the edge and we throw the apple, and it lands, splits open, and some of the seeds are thrown so far. They really kind of jump. It was a very vivid meditation. And this feels like a message about trusting the leap and the jump, trusting how things are unfolding, allowing the knowledge that we gained, specifically our inner knowledge, this new insight and wisdom of what we actually want, what we are actually capable of, that we can throw our ideas and inspirations and wildest dreams to the universe so that they can be planted and grow in ways that we cannot even imagine, and so much further than we could have done ourselves if we just kind of threw it. But we threw it down, allowing the ground to help with the co-creation. And we didn't feel scared. It didn't feel like we lost something. It felt part of it. It felt like part of the plan. And I did pay attention to the feeling that we had when we kind of threw the apple down onto the ground below the mountain. And there was kind of a wave of discomfort or worry in the stomach. But as soon as the apple split open and the seeds kind of jumped, it was more excitement. So this really felt like guidance around this month. That if you are venturing into kind of new territory with what you are doing and sharing and dreaming of, but with concrete steps, to really pay attention to whether any worry or anxiety or fear may actually be excitement or your life force coming online or your soul feeling so much energy because this is the way. Last month, again, that theme was unlock, to unlock, something unlocked. And it did feel like we unlocked new, electric, sparkling potential within us. And that was waiting for us. It was waiting for us to trust ourselves enough to follow the sparks in that electric potential, to trust that we have it within. And then what happens next in the meditation is we sit down. We sit down on the edge and we are just waiting. We're patient. We are in no hurry. And that was also surprising because it felt like, oh, now we go after the apple. Now we follow the seeds. No. In the meditation, it feels like we're being reminded that if we feel like we are late or running out of time or getting impatient or things are not happening on our timeline, that's when we go back to our soul. That's when we go back to what are we not allowing? Why are you in such a hurry? What are you afraid of? What part of you are you afraid of? Like such an introspective month in so many ways, but from a grounded place. And then the next thing that came through was we're sitting on that top of the edge of the mountain. We're staying there. We're not moving. We're in no hurry. But then the sun comes out and it highlights a shadow that is kind of flowing out of our back, the back of our hearts. But it's reaching up to the sun. And the sun is making the shadow gold, transforming it to this golden strength and making our heart field energy stronger. And this felt like such a metaphor that in December, we have the opportunity to connect with parts of ourselves that we are keeping in the shadows, that we are keeping hidden, even from our conscious view. So what parts of yourself, what parts of your story, your life, are you keeping hidden? That you feel maybe some guilt or shame, that you might feel you could be rejected for, deeply criticized, even ostracized. This is what you may need to acknowledge in December. These hidden parts that we are keeping safe within our heart, protecting them. But this meditation is showing us it's time to bring them out into the light. And it did feel like the light of our hearts, the light of our being, the light of our soul. There's this feeling in December that we have an opportunity for new leadership and this confidence, this self-love, and the ability to receive, but also be very generous, like a big energy opening to co-creating with God or the universe more than ever before, allowing it. But before we can fully allow it, we need to make sure that we're not hiding these parts of ourselves from ourselves. I'm not saying that you have to go and share all these deep parts of yourselves that you've been keeping hidden to everyone. No, I mean, if that's what you feel like, sure. But this is for you and your soul. So in December, this is what we could need. We could need to bring all of this back into the light of our hearts. The gift of what was hidden, the fear of these parts of ourselves being seen. This could be the missing piece of feeling really full in our hearts, comfortable with ourselves, and feeling full in our soul. December really feels like a month to connect with your soul. A deeper way, like I said, to describe your authentic energy is to describe your soul. And don't worry, as I said, about what a soul is. Trust what it means to you. And follow any resistance to connecting to your soul. Anything you've been told about what a soul is. Anything you have heard about souls. Don't connect to that. It's all about you. What do you feel your soul is? And really describing it. That could be so helpful for December. And that was the meditation. Kind of simple steps, simple little pieces of the meditation, but with really strong themes and insight. And it does feel, as I'm sharing everything that came through, I'm remembering even more about what it felt like during the meditation for December. And one of the parts does feel like one of the aspects of this month is that we have the opportunity to leave anything that is not in line with your soul behind, to leave it behind this month. That you can do even more of like a little inventory into what is not in line with your soul, what is not authentic to you. What can you leave behind fully in 2025? What habit, what fear, what judgment, what project, what belief, what story about yourself? Like, what do you not want to bring into 2026? What doesn't fit? What has no room for the new year? Remember 2 weeks ago, it was about authenticity shining. So what is not letting you or your soul shine? That's what we could really need to finally say goodbye to, because you are different now. The beginning of December, look at how different you are than January 1st. How much you have changed. How much more of your soul do you feel connected to? So in December, really try your best to honor who you are now with the clarity of what you are not. And how can you not bring what you are not into the new year? By letting it go in December. To make decisions and even speaking from who you are now. Not even who you want to be, but definitely not who you were. But now. And I feel like maybe the soul came through so deeply for this month because That's the fastest way to connect with that. Bring your attention to your soul, to that ever present energy that is unique to you. How can it guide you? And the animal for this month, the last month of this year, it's the lion. And I love that the lion came through. The lion showed up as we sat down on the edge of the mountain, looking out with us. So supportive for this month. Such beautiful, shining energy. Talk about heart. Talk about soul. The heart energy of a lion. The lion heart. This is what we will need in 2026, but definitely to reconnect to in December. And as I share about the energy of the lion and the symbolism and what it represents, how does that connect for you? Where does it bring you in your life? What does it highlight? What does it make you remember? Like, really trust how the lion can inspire and support you now and through the month. So the lion represents the energy of courage, inner strength, heart healing, solar plexus healing, leadership, wisdom, communication, intuitive gifts, creative expression, overcoming difficulties, self-care, honor and esteem, self-respect. So with all of what I just shared, what stood out to you? Trust that. Trust what resonates and leave the rest always with everything I share. And I also wanted to share this excerpt from, you guessed it, from Animal Speak by Ted Andrews to dive a bit deeper into the symbolism. So this excerpt on the lion energy. The lion is unusual among members of the cat family in that it will live in groups called prides. If a lion has shown up, you can expect lessons and issues dealing with community and groups to surface. There may be a need to examine your own role in the group. Since the females of the pride do most of the work, it actually reflects the idea of rising feminine energies. The sun has not always been a masculine symbol. It does give birth to new days, and it nurtures and warms life. It is not stretching the correlation to see the lion as the assertion of feminine energies to bring forth birth and new power. The lion does not fight for the sake of fighting. It avoids confrontations and will leave the scene of danger if possible. This is a tactic to keep in mind. Lions also hunt primarily by stealth. Don't be afraid to roar if you feel threatened or intruded upon. The stealth technique is something to practice developing when pursuing new endeavors and objectives in any area of life. Be stealthy for the greatest success. When a lion has shown up, there will be opportunity to awaken to a new sun. Trust your feminine energies, your creativity, your intuition, and imagination. These will add new sunshine to your life. Very powerful energy, beautiful animal for December. And I also wanted to touch on a bit about this week. So your week of December 1st, a bit of an energy update. The animal is the same. So lion for all of December, this week especially. And the heart. The heart came into focus when I tuned in to this week. So tending to, caring for, opening your heart. Notice where you may feel unsure about receiving, but also giving. I did feel like something that could be really helpful this week is to pay attention to where you can give something without expectation. No transactional giving. It can even be something small, like if you're in traffic and a driver is annoying you or wanting to kind of cut in or needs to turn in a different way, and it's something that would normally kind of enrage you. Maybe give them the grace of allowing them to cut in. Why not? You don't get anything from it, but you're giving to them. Because who knows why they need to? And does it even matter? What would make you feel okay? They deserve it. That's what we're trying to stay away from this week, is the righteousness. So giving without expectation, without a list of why, but because your heart and your soul feel like it. Before you can jump in and say, well, why? Oh, they don't deserve it, or I do it too much, or all of the things. And then also receiving without expectation. So even a small compliment without giving one back right away. Someone opening the door for you and you not like jumping to grab it too and saying, oh, thank you, thank you. No, allow the door to be opened for you. Like these little things. This is the focus this week, to really pay attention to what is in the way of our giving and receiving. And that has to do with our hearts. So reconnecting to our hearts this week, tending to, caring for. And I did feel like for some of us, if this feels right to you, even starting each day with, I am open to give and I am open to receive. And you can say it 3 times and just see how that kind of shifts your energy for the day. And this week, we could also be inspired and supported by the moon cycle. The full moon in the astrological sign of Gemini is at the end of the week. So a cycle is closing, and then we start all over again. And this is the time to release what is in the way of your power and your soul, but connecting that to the themes that Gemini can inspire. And I wanted to share this excerpt from moonomens.com about the full moon in Gemini. The full moon is in the sign of the twin, Gemini, reminds us of the value of learning and the importance of not being too rigid in our worldview, beliefs, and perspectives. This event shines a light on thoughts, conversations, and situations that may have emerged earlier in the cycle, especially while Mercury was retrograde, offering us an opportunity to access more clarity and understanding of the meaning and purpose of what we experienced. As the Gemini full moon rises over the horizon, something comes full circle. The calendar year is coming to a close, and we have an opportunity to become aware of something previously hidden from our conscious awareness. Under the light of a Gemini full moon, curiosity leads the way. This event highlights the importance of asking better questions, staying open to multiple perspectives, and allowing new information to reshape our perception, beliefs, and narratives. And doesn't that really connect so beautifully with everything I've already shared about December and the first week? So we can be, really inspired and supported by this moon at the end of the week and what we can release that is in the way of our minds being more open, of our stories and perceptions and beliefs shifting and reshaping, of allowing the new information, of letting the light of our soul be seen. Like so many connections. And it just feels like a really powerful week. And now, after all of that, my overview of December and then also the first week of December, let me share 4 writing prompts, journal prompts, questions to answer to help you dive even deeper into the energy of this month and to allow yourself to connect to what you need to focus on and what you need to know. So the first kind of writing prompt for this month: using your imagination, describe your soul energy, but describe it as a physical home you would love to live in. Get as imaginative and detailed as possible. Like, really allow it to tell something about you and yourself that you need to remember. So after you go into all the details, then look at everything you've written and how does that help you remember something about your soul and your unique energy? And how can that help guide you this month? This is an important one. I encourage you to do it. And a second question, what is in the way of letting your soul shine? What is in the way? Trust the first thing that comes. And then how can you let that go and leave it behind in December? And a third journal prompt, writing prompt question. Describe 4 ways that you are different or that you have changed since January. How are you different and how have you changed since January? Describe at least 4 that come to mind. And a fourth, how can you allow more flow in your life? How can you open up and allow thoughts, ideas, experiences, situations that are stuck, maybe looping in your mind? How can you allow them to move? What is the thought, idea, or situation asking for? What resistance to allowing it to go is it spotlighting in you? This one is more specific, and for those of you that need to answer this, you'll know. In the final for this December, what intentions can you set for the full moon and commit to tending for the next 6 months? Consider the themes of the full moon in Gemini. What are you inspired to release? Begin your intentions with, I am so grateful to finally release, and then write in what you need to release so that you can call in and have the space for what you desire to create, to receive, to experience. Add all the detail that you need. And you can time this with the end of the week to really be supported by this full moon, to end this cycle and start again. And thank you so much for listening to this episode of Intuitive Seek. I would love to hear if you resonate with anything that I'm sharing about the energy that we're moving through for December and for this first week of December. If you're curious about anything that I shared and also connecting with me and applying for the key, go to the show notes. You'll find all the links you need there. So thank you so much again. Be extra kind to yourself, and I will talk to you next week.